Hi, this is Matt Kinders, Module 17, AEP 858 VC. For my continuous school improvement planning, I would be meeting with my current administration, my current English teaching staff, as well as my current Chinese co-teachers at my kindergarten in Zhongnonghui. For some of them, more than a few of them, I think that dealing with data and data analysis and how to gather the data for our purposes might be a new task they would be undertaking. So in order for them to, all of us to be on board with the same ideas of what it is we want to do, what it is we're going to do, I would want to explain to them the 4 types of data that we would want to be gathering. The first one being demographic data. According to Bernhardt, that describes the students, the staff, the school, and the surrounding community. This gives the context of who constitutes the student population of our school, what constitutes the teaching background, the teaching information of our staff, as well as the parents themselves. The second thing we need to accrue is the student learning data, as in our summative, interim, and formative assessments that we would be scheduling throughout the year. The perceptions data is the third one. That is information we gather from teachers, parents, students, the administration, and the community at large to gain their understanding of what it is they perceive the school to help within the community. And the fourth type of data would be the school processes data. So that includes our programs, our instructional strategies, our assessment strategies, and our classroom practices throughout the year. I believe that schools must self-identify their identity so that the staff, the community all understand what it is the school wishes to achieve, what is their goal to achieve with the students, what is it they want to accomplish throughout the year. Grade on grade as they continue through the school, and the gaps that they are aware of in the school and the students' achievement through the formative and summative assessments. Schools must also utilize data to establish the baseline of achievement in students and track this progress. Schools must also identify historical challenges and strengths as they progress through this continuous improvement plan. So for my infographic, I kind of piecemealed it together here, but this is the data protocol for continuous improvement starting this fall. The first thing we need to do as a school is gather our data. What are our methods for gathering data? We can track our attendance record of the students. We can track which students, as far as our English language program is concerned, which students have private tutoring outside of class and those who are currently not receiving tutoring. What are our assessments, our formative at the beginning of the term, our interim assessments throughout the term, and our summative assessments at the end of the term? What do those look like and how do they compare to each other? And also we can gather our perception data from the teaching staff, from the parents, from the administration, as well as the larger community that we serve. The second thing we need to do is analyze our data. What are we looking for in the data we collect? Again, we need to create that baseline of student achievement. Where do our students fall on that baseline? Are they on that baseline? Are they below or above it? We also need to assess the prior skills that students know or don't know when they come into our classrooms. We can also compare our classroom to classroom strategies and methods, and we want to identify those gaps between those classes. If there's a gap in the skills that a teacher identifies in their students compared to a gap in the skills that another teacher has identified in their own students, and how do we bridge that gap between classrooms? The third thing we need to address is how to apply the data once we've gathered it. How does the data stack up against our agenda and goals? Does the data reflect that the goals we have for our school are being met? Does the data describe gaps in instruction? What are those gaps, whether it's a particular unit of the same program between 2 different classrooms that's met and not being met, or is it 2 different programs, and how do we bridge the gap between those 2 programs, how they compare to each other, especially within the school and classroom to classroom? What other changes are necessary in order to accomplish our goals? And we also need to reflect as a staff, what is it we can change with the staff as far as committing to new plans, new programs. That can be very difficult for some of the staff. We also need to learn from the data. How can we improve our processes from what the data shows? Analysis of the data determines the current direction that we're going. How do we adjust our processes to create those course corrections for any challenges that we may be facing? What are those challenges faced in our program, and where are our strengths as we identify them through the data analysis? And how can we improve our perception among the community, the parents and the students and the staff? I also created, I kind of partitioned up the handout I would be giving to my staff. My EET company at the school, Zhonggonghui, are basic foundation questions. Who are we? How do we do business? Where are we now? Where do we want to be? How do we gather this data for who are we, our demographics, our school perceptions? How do we do business? That data is our English language program, and what is it that constitutes our English language program? For where are we now, the student processes, the school processes, for what we do day in and day out in our classes for each unit. And where do we want to be, the perceptions of where we are going to go for the future, and how do we use the student learning to assess where we're going to be in the future. With these, I hope that I can improve the processes at my school and improve the performance of our students. And I hope that the meeting will go well with my staff, and I'm sure that we can work to address those challenges and the strengths and work to increase our students' performance in the future. Thank you.